Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to make something called a crease-up point. It's an early woodland style point, a stemmed point. 3,500 to 2,500 BP, late archaic to woodland. And I'm going to be working on material found in New York in creeks with damage. The commonly used material for this point style is felsite or chert. The felsite is not so good of a material, and a lot of these points have lines running through them, seams. So we're going to do that. We're going to work on actually 2 points during this video. One found in a creek that's very damaged, and the other made from limestone. And I spoke about knapping limestone in another one of my videos, and I felt like maybe I could demonstrate it a little bit at the end of this one. Okay, so here's the information for this point style, where it's located, and what the artifacts look like. And here we go. What is up? I'm feeling quite a bit better today. So I'm going to try to make a spear point or a knife blade out of some material that's not so great. I'll show you what I got. We'll see if we could get something out of this first. If not, if this fails, which it might, we'll try this stuff. This stuff is isopus. And this is the chunk that Leah actually threw at me in the other video. And I managed to make one knife out of that so far. Squirrel sheep. Here, check it out. So this is the isopus. I've been using this for fishing. There we go. Yeah, it's not too glossy. It's kind of dull looking, but it's very sharp. Very, very, very sharp. Trying to get it to zoom close so you could see. Okay, anyway. This is cool. This is last year's squirrel from hunting. Works really well. Alright, so, and if I can't really get anything from that, there's this piece. So, let's see what we got. Alright, so we are going to start with this piece and see if I could get a decently long spear point or knife blade out of this for hunting or fishing. Medium-sized copper. So I'm just going to hit into the side here and try to take some of that off. See, it's really damaged. Let's see what we could do though. Use a heavier one. All right. So this has lines running through it like that. It might fall apart. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just hitting into the side here and knocking flakes off. This would make a nice little arrowhead, so I'm gonna keep that. Let's see. So I have not been doing too well with my medications. I spent about a month having non-stop heart palpitations that really made it difficult for me to do anything. So I'm happy to be back doing this at least. Very, very, very sharp. You could use this as a knife. This would skin an entire deer as is. Just, let's see, what do we got here? So at the top of this, I have a nice platform there that I might be able to take that whole line off. See what I can do. So about half of this rock is crumbled. See, one side is smooth, the other side is all damaged. But I'll see what I can do with it. All right. So I'm gonna hold on this line tight, and I'm gonna hit right in here. It's got a lot of damage. I don't know, guys. We will see. I don't know. See if I can get anything at all out of it. Now I'm just grinding the edges to make it easier to flake. If the tool you're using hits on a spot that isn't grinded, it's just going to crush it and the flake won't go. But if it has a spot to grab really well, like if it's really ground dull and you hit there, it's more likely that the flake will go. There's so much damage in this thing, it's ridiculous. Let's see. All right. Let's just speed through this piece, because I don't know about this. Might be able to get a point. Maybe. Did the same thing on the other end, ground this flat. The lower edge is where I'm going to hit. Not too bad. Yet, we'll see. All right. Hopefully I don't have to cut all of this out. Move to a smaller one. just trying to thin it. You can see I shot the flake off here and right there. Trying to clean it up and thin it. We got rid of most of that junky crap. We'll see. A lot of people asking me, like, I find this cruddy rock in the creeks, how do I work it? You just have to work around the areas that are damaged and hope that there's something decent inside. Now, like, I've been messing with this for years, collecting my own flint and working it into stuff I could use. Now, by the end of this, I don't really know what this piece is gonna look like. But so far, I got it pretty thin. There's a little bit of damage in here, but the rest of it is okay. We'll see. One of the tricks to this is just keep grinding it to try to give it as much strength as possible. And you want to leave the base kind of thick on these damaged points so that they hold together if you're using them. Alright, getting there. So this stuff just does not want to come out. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a usable tool. A lot of artifacts are found with these lines and cracks running through them, especially in the New York area. Some of it. Still just shaping it. Thinning it. The side looks better. Grind it really well, and you're hoping for the best outcome, but you don't always know how it's going to go, especially with something as faulty as that. Yeah, I took some of that off, cut myself. If you look there, see that dip with that damage. We'll see what we can do. I don't know. I don't know. All right. Getting there now. So the other thing with these damaged points, you don't want to go too thin, because it will just fall apart. You could see the lines running through it. I'm going to use a ishii stick with a copper tip. I'm going to put it under my leg and use a moose antler to use indirect. And this will help me clean it up at least a little bit. Does not look awful. All right. So you would think that's a weak spot, but this is actually not. There's only one weak spot in this thing, and it runs. Let me see if I can point it out for you. It runs right there. That's the weak spot. So if you're shooting this or throwing it and it hits this way, it's not gonna break there. If you throw it and it hits sideways, then it'll break. This looks like a weak spot, but it's not. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit more and maybe put some notches on it. Now this is incredibly damaged creek rock. Again, this is for people who can't find pristine rock to work with. I'm just showing you that you can work with this stuff. Whether it be freeze damaged, water damaged, if you learn how to work around these problems, which does take some time, you can end up with extremely usable hunting points, spear points, knives. So I'm just sharpening it and thinning it a little bit more with this method, taking small flakes, larger ones where I think it'll hold. All right. Now I am in my my yard here, so you're gonna hear a lot of town sounds. There's a highway back in the woods over there. You could probably hear it. See, when I'm hitting, it's taking the flake off like that. And just sharpening it and thinning it a little bit. Some of these spots are so sketchy that you almost don't want to hit. But if you want any chance at making something, you have to be willing to lose your point. So don't be afraid of losing your point, because the more you work on it, the more you learn. Now I think I'm not going to go much further with this. I'm going to try to get rid of one spot. So I'm going to try to get rid of what's under my thumb, what's under my middle finger there. Hold it tight, push the copper bit in, and hit. Now if you look, cleaned it up. So I am pretty happy with how this one's going. And generally speaking, if it could hold up to you smacking it like this, then it could hold up to you hunting with it. Alright, so I'm gonna straighten it a little bit, straighten the base, and put some notches in. Sometimes it's hard to get this incredibly damaged rock entirely straight. Sometimes, because you don't want to hit on those super weak spots to try to make it entirely symmetrical. But you can do your best. Just learn where you're hitting. All right. Just shaping the base. Cleaning it up a little bit. Trying to make it symmetrical to the best of my ability here. All right. So I think I'm going to do a corner notch on this. And I do my notching with the Ishi stick, indirect, for the most part. Sometimes I use, a hand flaker to put the notches in, but it's easier for me to just do it like this. What I do is I just flip back and forth, push the flaker in, and maybe I'll just start it with this and do the rest with a hand flaker. Alright, yeah, so I'm going to use a hand flaker for the rest of this, but this is what we got so far. Not too bad, I would say. So I'm just going to use one of these. I'm going to grind one more time and try to shape it a little bit better. Put those notches in a little bit better. And same thing as indirect, I'm pushing in and down. There we go. So doing it this way can be a little bit sketchy, because if you push too much, you might snap it. But hopefully, we are not going to snap it. Now I've actually, not this big, but I have hunted squirrels with points that look like that. And they held up. I mean, I've hit trees and they hold up. They don't break. Just shape the tip a little bit. And it's surprising to me with this rock that it could hit a tree and not break. Especially with all that flaw in it. Edge is razor sharp now. This one I wouldn't be putting on an arrow because it's so big. This would be more a atlatl dart. There's one spot here giving me trouble. Really annoying. And that spot needs to be sharp. So I'm gonna zigzag it. There we go. It's gonna take some of the width off, but now I gotta cut this whole edge. But that's no biggie, it's a big point. Just reshaping the tip. Almost finished, actually. 25 minutes, not too bad. Let's finish sharpening this. All right. Getting there. It's still a little off. But if you have to, sometimes if your point is crooked like that and you cannot work around some of this damage, when you're sawing into the wood, if you saw at an angle like that and then you rest it in, it sits straight. Just make sure you really glue it in there and you really tie it with sinew. And it will fly straight to get rid of that bump. Hopefully this doesn't destroy the tip. And we butchered it. All right. So that's what happens when you push it with these. But if you look inside, you can see where the damage was. Now still, even with this in there, if you shot this into a freaking tree, it wouldn't pop off like that. For whatever reason, when you're napping, indirect especially, and you're hitting and you pop, it does that. But if this hits direct on, it'll stick into the tree, and it'll rarely do that. So anyway, that would have been a point. And I guess I'll upload this. about a half an hour, and then it failed. But I learned again. Okay, guys. I'll be checking back in with some napping videos for now. Until I decide to go on another trip when I'm feeling better, when I'm recovered more. But for now, I will be uploading stuff like this and showing my gear. And I would like to show it in use, but YouTube doesn't like that. So like I can't really show using it on animals or even fish. I'll give it a try. We'll see what happens. But for now, we're gonna stick to making tools from creek rocks. And I will see you guys soon. I'll be uploading a little bit more often. And I apologize for not uploading for so long, but I was very sick. And still pretty sick, but I'm getting better. I'm getting well enough to do these videos at least. So, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry I broke that point. You got to watch me work on it for a half an hour to break it. But, well, let's see. This is also some of the rock I have, and there's no damage in this stuff. So I will be working these as well. And these will not give me anywhere near the problem that the damaged stuff gives. But, like I said, if you need something to hunt, you can't find glass, which you can, this crummy stuff will work. You don't need much to kill with an arrowhead or a spear point. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Like, comment, subscribe. Please comment. Let me know what you want to see me make, because I can't really travel right now. So let me know what you guys would like to see in the comments. And thanks again, guys. I really appreciate you all. See you soon. Alright, guys, since I failed that point, I grabbed a piece of limestone, and I'm napping limestone. So I'm just gonna finish this up, sharpen it, and that'll be good to go. Limestone. Pure limestone. It flakes. Hopefully the indirect monster don't get me again. I really only have one spot to thin, so it should be fine. And no problem. All right. So, limestone, not as sharp as flint. Sharpening up the edge. Not gonna thin this anymore, just sharpen it. Alright. So normally, if I wasn't on video, I would try to flute that straight up and straight up, but I'm not going to do that in this video because I already broke a point. So on this one, I think I'm just going to make a little bit of a stem. Now this one I actually would put on an arrow. What I did here is I shaped the edges to have a little point to grab. So when you put it in and you wrap it here with sinew, it'll have a place to grab and stay in there. Pushing it a little bit too far with limestone here. I got some spots I'm unhappy with. There's a little hinge right there, and I'm bothered by it. All right, sharpen this up, finish it up, stop messing with it. All right. There we go. Like this. So that you can actually see it. So this is limestone. I've said in other videos that you can knap limestone, and this is limestone. This will work. It's not as strong. If you hit a tree with this, it's likely to snap. But if you hit an animal with this, it's likely to kill it. I'm just gonna sharpen the tip a little bit more. It's really... So with the limestone, if you're even gonna target practice with it, you're gonna need to resharpen it. And I would leave the tip a little thicker on limestone, a little bit thicker, just so that it has a little extra strength. Because when this hits, it's gonna dull. But it will go right through leather. Like even if you triple fold it, it'll go right through if you shoot it from a bow. And there you go. All right, guys. Had to give you a point. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I broke the other one. I would have shown the whole process, but then this would have been an hour-long video and nobody would watch that. So, just knocked off a flake of limestone, flaked it up, and good to go. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. See you soon.